Metz. He's Tass. It's the Metzger Tassoul Show.
What was
on God's green earth
that?
was that?
My God.
Yeah, I went from like the I'm gonna fall asleep meditation music to a little bit of jazz.
Wow. Wowzers.
How are we doing?
Oh, man. So the first thing I want to put out to the community is maybe twice a year. Well, you know, Tass.
You
know what I'm talking about, Tass.
My God, look at your eyes are half closed.
Dude, don't eat 6 chocolate chip cookies and a quart of milk before going to bed because it just throws off the entire day. Don't do it.
You know those bags under your eyes right now? Like I have the same. So it was last year about this time. I probably was walking through the mall because I go to the mall probably maybe once a year for holiday shopping, right? Christmas shopping,
right?
And they're flipping the little packet like, hey, eye cream. I said, I already have the eye cream. You know, it's the stuff you put in your eyes and the bags go away, right? And she goes to me, well, why don't you use it? I said, thank you. Point taken.
I have some as well. My wife bought me some.
Yeah.
Never used it.
You are using it. Look, it's doing great.
Yeah, it's great, right? I need more.
My God. Yeah.
What?
Anywho, how are you?
I'm exhausted. I put that up there, Perry. Yeah. Sir. By the way, everybody, do you see the header there? Join brand new school. It's free.
I always have mixed feelings when I see that because there's two things I think of. Number one, school is spelt wrong. And number two, I pronounce it skull. And we're Green Bay Packers and the Minnesota Vikings chant is skull. And so I don't like it. So we got to fix that.
Brian, change the name of the school community. All right. Okay. Anyway, no, you have the ring con. I have the ring con.
Ew.
But I just have, I've been eating very clean. And you experienced that 2 weeks ago when you were at the house and, low salt, no carbs, this and that. When you eat clean constantly, you get craving. So I eat the cleanest garbage I can find, which is the Sweet Loren's, dairy-free, 40% lower sugar, chocolate chip cookies. The problem is you can't eat 6 of them.
The other problem is you can't eat just one either.
No, you can't. So I'm wearing the ring con and it told me, what the hell were you doing last night? You didn't sleep good at all. Pay attention to your heart rate variability and everything else. And then I trained this morning. I did some jujitsu training this morning and I'm like just exhausted. So I will not eat 6 cookies. I will either eat 5 or 7. But I will not eat 6 of them because it might have been the fact that it was 6. Anyway, we're here to answer questions. I had Mr. Brian. He went out on the different sites, printed out some questions here.
Oh, looks like it's not many at all. It's a whole page, 2 pages?
Page and a half, page and a quarter.
All right, I like it.
So anyway, if you all have any questions, please ask questions. Are we sharing do you want to call the rest of the viewers and tell them that we're on live?
Hey Siri.
Call everyone.
Call everyone and let them know.
All right, so let's go over some questions here. By the way, it is beautiful here in Orlando right now. Beautiful.
I don't think anybody asked that question.
All right, thank you. Mr. Peter Johnson, do you see this?
Raised money for the National Breast Cancer Foundation and enrolled 4 into our trial last night after our annual free community pink workout to fight cancer. That's awesome. It reminds me of one of the Marvel movies, though. Like, you need a shorter name, like an acronym, because that was a really long name. That is awesome, though. That's great, man. For a great cause.
That is really great. Let's hit some questions here. Please discuss little and big things we should be doing regularly to increase student value. So please discuss little and big things we should do or we should be doing regularly to increase student value. Now, Tass, I want you to answer that just because I'm really tired from the cookies. But somebody was asking me, and I don't know if it was the webinar we were on a meeting yesterday. I don't know if I mentioned it yesterday, but we always talk about new students as the fuel. But if you don't know how to generate revenue with your current client base, you're going to just be spinning your wheels. And the biggest misconception in any business, but especially our business, our industry, is if you have 400 students and you're generating a lot of money financially with 400 students, you will be comfortable and believe you are doing great in business, when in disguise it's possible that you're just great at recruiting students, not great in business,
and potentially retaining them.
and potentially retaining them. But the thing is the key indicator on if somebody really knows how to run an effective business by providing high quality, all of that stuff, customer service, everything, is that student value number. That tells us how well you are understanding the core philosophy of business, which doesn't change. More customers, more transactions per customer, more money per transaction. That is not a martial arts concept, that is a business concept. And if your student value is at or near or slightly above what your monthly recurring revenue is, then you're not good at business. I mean, or you're not executing what you know at business. I mean, it sounds so harsh, but I'll say this and then I want you to answer. Is I'm listening to that Brian Cox. Joe Rogan has Brian Cox, the astrophysicist, on, and I love that guy. I mean, he's such a brilliant guy. But he says one of the great things about science and about astronomy and nature and science in general is it doesn't care what you think, because scientists do experiments, they do build models to see if their theory is correct. And he goes, the majority of the time, we're really thinking we have a great theory, and then we run models, we do the test, and we're wrong. And he says science doesn't care. It just tells you you're wrong. What you believed is not accurate. He says, but that's what I love about science, because I'm always learning. That's how we got to look at the martial arts business. So if you're not generating a high student value based on your average monthly rate, then we're not efficient or maximizing the business. I mean, a period. There's no argument to that. But what are big things and little things we should be doing regularly to increase that student value?
Well, based on what you said, I mean, just get more clients and then just raise your prices and nickel and dime them. There you go. That's it. That's what I would.
Next question.
Next question, please.
We still have no.
Humor, everybody, jokes. Man, it's a loaded question, right? And first of all, how do you know if you have good student value or not? I think is really, let me back up a step, because you may not even know what this person does, but somebody else watching may not understand what student value is, right? Student value, or your average value per client, right, is something that we look at and calculate. What was our total revenue that we brought in for the month for everything? Whether that was their billing check, it was a down payment, it was sparring gear, a testing fee, or whatever, all the water bottle, all the money that was brought in, divide that by your active students, and that number is what we call your average student value. And most times, when clients come to us, we find that their student value is actually less than what they charge for their basic or core program. In other words, if someone charges $150 a month for their lessons, their student value is going to be somewhere less than 150. It could be 110, 130. And the question is, well, how does that happen? And the answer is always, because I know this is what everyone's going to say, well, I have instructors that train for free. We have family discounts. We have family members that train for free. We have paid in full. We have all the same things that you do, by the way. Okay? And so that is what student value is. The easiest way right, to do this is number one, have a pricing structure. That's number one, because it becomes a system. Because what you don't want to do is just chase money on a monthly basis to increase your student value. Like, oh, what can I sell this month to increase my student value? That's not the goal and the mission. It's creating a system that will allow you to do this. Pricing structure, that is to say, not what you charge, but how you charge, is a system. Whether that's for a beginner program, for your Tiny Tigers or Little Dragons program, or if you have an upgrade program, or if you have private lessons, all of those there's pricing structures in all of those to allow us to maximize the price, right? And what we charge based off of how we charge it, which is fair for everybody. So I'd say that'd be number one. And then number two is you need to have an upgrade program. And that falls into the 5 profit centers, right? So most times we also see people struggle with student value is because they're doing one of the 5 profit centers, which is billing, right? The monthly recurring billing. Somebody signs up and they're paying $150 a month. Next month they pay 150, next month 150. All of those 150 a month, right? For all the people that pay that, that's the majority of what people collect in their martial art business. And they think that's what they're supposed to be doing. And I say that most people, that's 80 to 90% of their overall revenue. Another like stat or earmark is we don't like that number, and it's not, to be more than 50% of our overall revenue. So if you generate, I'm going to make a number up, $20,000 a month in revenue, in our world, it's never more than 10,000 of that 20 is in billing. It comes from other things. Well, what other things? Well, the 4 other profit centers: upgrades, retention, which is a profit center, which we won't get into now, special events, and retail, right? So those are the areas. But if you want to really move the needle fast, it's really pricing structure across the board and upgrades. Does a parent night out or a seminar move the needle? Yes. But you got to come up with it every month. It's got to be a new one. It can be a little bit unpredictable. It doesn't move the needle as much. And so those first 2 are what I would say.
And I would concur. And there's systems to that. But at the end of the day, just check your student value. Here's another question. We still have a handful of students that do not attend what they call A days, which I'm assuming are like curriculum. We have been running A and B schedule for almost a year now. Then kids struggle a bit at testing and are not as sharp as I would like them to be. How do I highly recommend to the parents that the students attend these days so that it sinks in for them?
Oh, this is great. I love this. This is almost like a consulting call, like asking all the questions. Number one, it's a conversation with the parent, right? To let them know the importance and make sure that they understand the schedule. And again, I don't know, and we don't know sometimes, what is their understanding of that by asking questions. Ms. Smith, I'm curious. I see you guys come to classes on Wednesday, Thursday, or Wednesday, Friday, or whatever the deal is. Tell me, is there a reason why you pick those 2 days? And I'm going to ask questions to find out. And then I'm giving you the short version, but then I'm going to make sure that they understand our Monday, Tuesday classes really are designed for curriculum. This is where Johnny's going to learn what he needs to go from one belt level to the next. Wednesday, Thursdays really don't have anything to do with our testing. So if he's not attending the Monday, Tuesday class, it's going to be very difficult for him to continue to advance forward in classes because he's not getting the material that he needs to advance. Is there a way for you to do Monday or Tuesday? And if not, you'll see a lot of times on our schedules, we'll have a Friday or Saturday, which is a catch-all class, whether that's a makeup class or whatever you want to call it, that's a Friday or Saturday class as well. So that, depending on the person, that's what you can do. I will tell you, in our martial arts school, I got rid of the Friday, Saturday makeup classes. This is just me, because we didn't have a need for it, right? Over 200 students were coming to our regular classes Monday and Tuesday. So just because somebody isn't coming to Monday or Tuesday class, I want to be clear, doesn't mean they can't come to Monday or Tuesday class.
And if you give another option, some people will take the other option just because it's a little more convenient for them. However, there's a system to this as well. So whether a student can progress every 3 months, every 4 months, every 6 months, whatever that is, at the end of every month, we have a certain criteria that they have to meet every month to get a stripe on their belt, which is a portion of their curriculum. We will know in month one if they are behind. And if they're behind in month one, we will ask them to double up those curriculum classes in month 2 and 3, right? And if that's still a struggle, we may ask if they want to supplement any of the training with some private lessons. They don't have to. And by the way, if they want to record the instructor so they can practice at home, we will give them every possible solution. But it is our responsibility as an instructor to be monitoring their progress, not just at graduations or testings, but throughout their trainings. So you got to be on that sooner than later. But as Taz said, have a makeup class Friday or Saturday. But again, he didn't need it.
And here's the thing, and I've learned this over the years too, right? I don't know your situation, your scenario. So I don't know if you have 80 students or 800 students, as an example. And I don't know if you're talking about the 1 or 2 people that they're the outliers and the anomaly. I'm not putting in a special class on a Friday, Saturday for 1 or 2 people. I'm just not doing it, right? So I would want to know more information about that. But those are the ideas. But the first place to start is having the conversation, asking questions to the parents or the students.
Here's a question for all of you that somebody put on the marketing of this show or whatever and put a question in. And I'd like you to answer it. This is a question, and I'm going to predict that we won't have more than 2 of you answer this, but hopefully all of you will answer this. Who here has strong Friday attendance, and what types of training, themes, or experiences are you offering that keep students excited to show up? So, yes, you in the red.
Yes, thank you. I'm trying to prove you wrong so we can get 3 people to answer.
So let me say it again. Who here has strong Friday attendance, and what types of training, themes, or experiences are you offering that keep students excited to show up? So I would love to hear your answers. This person, whoever wrote this question in the comments on the marketing of the show, would probably love to hear the answer to this from all of you. Mr. Courtbowie says, not me, very vacant on Fridays, 4 classes, and they are all full core curriculum class. Okay.
Interesting.
Miss Miller, kicks and tricks and sparring is what she offers on Fridays. All right. So let me give you the answer. There's my 3, by the way. We have 4.
Yep.
Okay.
5. Reverse psychology.
Fridays, popular sparring class, weapons and forms review class. So very popular. So here's the reality. Listen, everybody. Monday through Thursday, people are in a routine. Monday through Thursday. Kids are in school, even if it's adult. My kid is, even if I'm the one training as an adult, my kid's in school, I work, I get off work, I get home. We do our thing, make dinner, help with homework, or I just have dinner, get to karate class. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, that's a break in our routine because now it's Friday. Yes, it's in school, I'm at work, but the weekend is here. Kids want to hang out with their friends. They're having sleepovers. You want to go out to dinner as an adult. You want to go relax. So it's sometimes harder to get people to come to classes on Friday. In a nutshell, this is why we have designed Friday our specialty classes. And I'm not going to go into a seminar mode, but here's how you can understand it. And I've said this a lot. But when you go to college and you want to be a doctor, there are required courses you must take. Same thing as a martial artist. There are required classes you must take. And those required classes for us is called curriculum, right? However, in college, you are also allowed to pick electives, classes that you're interested in, whether it's a tennis class, a judo class, a knitting class, whatever they offer. You get to look as a student and say, what electives, what's interesting to me? That's what we offer on Friday. Do you want to focus more on sparring? kamas, bow staff, nunchucks, kicks and tricks, jujitsu, like specialty classes that have nothing to do with our core curriculum, just like tennis has nothing to do with you getting a medical degree in college. But it's what I am interested in as a student. So we offer those classes on Friday for the students who are in a higher level program. But again, nobody has to go in a higher level program because it has nothing to do with our core competency, our core curriculum. That would be like a college saying, oh, you want to get your medical degree from our college? It's going to cost you $200,000 to get your doctorate and be a doctor here. But it would be like them saying, but if you want to learn the sciences, you got to pay us an extra $50,000, and you can't get your doctorate without that. So really, it's $250,000. That's not it. It's $200,000. But you also can take all these other electives if you choose, but those are credit hours as well, and you need credit hours. But in our school, you don't have to do those that specific whatever it is you want to offer on Friday. So if they want access to that, it's $25 more a month. And that's up to the customer to decide if they see the value in that or not. However, you can't only offer that for $25. So we also offer a different experience on Wednesdays and Thursdays for them. But again, has nothing to do with you getting a black belt. So when somebody enrolls in our school, we are very clear with them before they sign the dotted line at understanding our programs. And they never have to do anything. You can get a black belt in Taekwondo, white belt to black belt. Here's the price. Here's the monthly. We're done. But if you ever get interested and you want to do this or that or this or whatever, it's just $25 more. They decide if the value is there. So if you want to fill your Fridays, my advice would be, how can you make your Friday or Saturday a little more exciting or different than your Monday through Thursday? That's the concept here, if you want to build up your Friday classes.
That's great. That was very, very nice.
I'm looking at some of the answers.
Yeah, me too. And here's the thing, right? Like, and I was going to say earlier, Friday is our busiest day. And it is because of the specialty classes, number one. And listen, again, we don't have to go in seminar mode, but, our Masters Club students, right? So we have a core, then we have black belt training or black belt club, and then masters. So our core people come in to 2 days per week, right? 1 A day, a curriculum day, and a theme day for us. Black belt club can come up to, pay attention, come up to 3 times per week. They never have to. They never have to attend a Friday, Saturday class, because everything that we teach on Wednesday, Thursday will come up or on Friday, Saturday will come up over time in the curriculum in the rotation on Wednesday, Thursday. Because we made this adjustment a long time ago that, well, Black Belt Club, you come 3 times per week. Well, I don't want to come another time per week. We don't have time to come. That's a big, big mistake. I won't say their names online, but I remember this family from 20 years ago already, right? That they were good at everything and they couldn't commit to a third day. And when they understood our schedule, they literally stroked a check for $9,000 and paid in full for the program because they understood it better, right? And that was because I wasn't explaining it well enough. So that Friday, Saturday, so that's Black Belt Club, up to 3 times per week. Masters Club students can come to 1 A day, 1 B day, and they have unrestricted attendance for our C day classes, right? Now, again, you have to be careful and mindful of how you do this. We used to do unrestricted class attendance for Masters Club, period. And they would occupy way too much time through the Monday through Thursday classes. So then we just went to our specialty classes. And in part, that's part of why our Friday and Saturday, or now just Friday for us, specialty classes are so busy. But also, this is where you find that core of students. If they're coming to, in our example, a bow class, a nunchuck class, a kama class, an open hand form class, a sparring class, and they're staying, those Master Club students are staying, this is where you find you can really get some really great students because of the amount of time that they're training and spending with you. But again, it's an option.
Here's the other thing. Here's the other mistake. So I want everyone to make sure you're hearing everything. Fridays is a break in people's routines. So overall, it's oftentimes harder to get people to come on Friday night classes.
Correct.
Oftentimes. However, it depends, number one, how you pre-frame this when a student enrolls or gets into a higher program. Number two, just because you offer sparring or weapons or nunchucks or whatever, if you still deliver the presentation in a flat format where it's just more teaching, like commas, stick your hand up, do your cut, and 2, 3, 4, that's boring. If you're going to do a specialty day, this is where you let them experiment, have fun. And the classes, because they're so specific to a theme, are 30 minutes, fun, high energy, try the tricks, roll them over your wrist, do a toss, catch it behind your back. Make it fun and exciting, especially for kids. Same thing with adults. What do adults love? Adults love self-defense, but don't teach the self-defense the same way you teach curriculum. That is another big difference. And if you understand that, you can make Fridays huge. You can make Fridays very popular in your school. So much so that, Tass, I'm sure you have clients saying, because of my Fridays, the classes are too full. They're packed. I have to. My guys were thinking about opening Friday, having classes Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at one point, because they needed so much more room.
Yeah, we have wait. I mean, we literally, right? We have classes that get waitlisted on Friday.
I mean, but the thing is everybody needs to understand. Don't fool yourself or get brainwashed by saying, well, we do specialty classes Friday and nobody shows up. So that doesn't work. Don't fool yourself.
Right.
It's how you deliver. How many times do I have to make sure that people understand it's not what you do, it's how you do it? I mean, by the way, just think about this for a minute. I'm assuming everybody watching this teaches martial arts. But why are some of you doing $1 million a year and some of you are doing $150,000 a year? You're teaching martial because of how you do it, right? I mean, so you just have to make sure you understand that is the concept. It's how you deliver. Next.
But before you say that, last thing on that. I mean, Fridays are like a party at our school. I mean, the music's playing, they're doing fun stuff. I mean, it really is a fun time, right? So you can create that culture. If you're, some people, some schools, we're still very disciplined. By the way, we are too for our Monday, Tuesday classes, but we lighten up and loosen up on the Friday night class. So anyway,
tips on training staff to run a class. Tips on training staff to run a class. I'm just going to open with this. First of all, most of us don't do any training. We just start asking someone to lead a class, take them through something. That's number one. But here's the tips. Number one, you need to have a corporate structure from a leadership student to a level 1 assistant, a level 2 assistant, a level 3 assistant, to a senior instructor, to a chief instructor, and you need to have job descriptions and responsibilities clear, not only for the student or the employee to know what they need to know, but to make sure that you know how to stay organized on what to train your people on. And there's tiers, and you have to find time to train. The other big thing I hear is, well, a lot of my people, they're in high school and they can't get here to this. This is your business. Then find a time on Saturday every week to train them. Come in on Sunday if you have to train them. Make sure you take advantage of summer and do trainings. But you got to put trainings in. And then you got to be with them. Don't just train them in a setting in an empty school. And then the next time you have customers say, hey, can you go ahead and lead this class? I got to talk to this parent. No. Why don't you watch me? Let me lead the class. Notice how I'm doing this. By the way, notice how I'm keeping them organized. They're smiling. I'm keeping them engaged. Now you do it. Next class. But I'm right there with you. And I'm telling you, no, switch that up, guys. It's getting a little flat. The energy's losing. Let's switch it up. Then maybe I'll say, why don't you take them? I'm going to take 2 minutes, talk to this parent, start taking the class. But you need to have an organized training module so people understand what I'm trying to learn, or you're going to be all over the place trying to train people. But what do you say, Tass?
Well, Yeah. First of all, I would tell you, like anything in our world, we just sometimes we think more is more, and it's just not. Less is more. Number one, and you need to have, like he said, a structure, right? Our kid, like our leadership kids, go open the door for the students. They're in pre-class formation, collecting homework. They learn all this, right? How to stripe them, how to tie their belts, right? How to line the class up, how to do the student creed. These are all separate line items. So one of the worst things that you can do is when you need someone to teach class for you because you're sick or gone, hey, I just need you to jump in and teach class. Though you think that is easy to do, it's very daunting to somebody when they have no idea. And you say, well, they do have an idea. They take the class all the time. They know the curriculum. But knowing the curriculum and delivering a class plan or a class are two wildly different things, and really can scare people away if you're not careful about it. So to Mr. Metzger's point is this: chunk it down. Can they do the student creed in front of everybody? Good. Let's get that down. Can they do the warm up with everybody? Let's make that a section. Can we find out what is the skill that we're roundhouse kick? Can they create? Can they follow a 3-step train drill platform? We're doing round kick, and these are the 3 drills that we're doing. Just lead that section of class. And so all we're doing, like Legos, is we're just building the foundation of each of these things. They know how to open the door, how to help somebody check in, how to deal with pre-class formation, how to tie the belt, line them up, do the creed, do the warm-up. And pretty soon they're through the whole thing. Do they know how to do the lesson of the month, deliver the lesson of the month? Do they know how to do the announcement at the end of class? But all of those are individual pieces that you stack and build over time, as opposed to, okay, let's see you teach class today. There's just too many moving parts. So take it slow.
The other biggest mistake people make is you teach, not you, but a lot of us train our people on the tasks and not the concepts. And the thing is you got to get everybody understanding what it is we're selling. And you got to make sure that we understand that. Are we selling a promise to make world champions? Are we selling a promise of confidence, focus, discipline, respect? Are we selling physical fitness? Are we selling community, that you're part of a family here? We have each other's backs and we're a team. What is it that we're selling? And the other thing is you have to make sure you train all your people at every level, customer service first, because you can be the best martial arts instructor in the world, but if you don't have good service for your customers and you're not there for them, they're going to leave no matter what you're selling. I mean, if you go to a restaurant that serves great food, but the service is horrible, I promise you, you're not going to keep going back, guys. You know it, and I know it. You're not going to keep going back. Food's great. Service is horrible. We're only going to last so long. Same thing in the martial arts school. So how long or how much are you training your people on customer service more than how to line up a class and teach a great class? You got to have a balance there. Next, best practice for managing direct debits that help to prevent failed debits, and best process for collecting failed fees when they still happen.
Teach great classes. And I'm assuming you're talking about monthly billing. Is that what they're talking about? Like
that's just it. That's what it is. I'm assuming they're talking about, when a credit card doesn't go through or a payment doesn't go through. How do you handle that?
Listen, I was never a part of EFC or the whole Mr. Coquinos thing, but I don't know. I think I'm quoting him. I don't know. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong. But I think he said something about writing gold paper, which back in the day meant like the agreements, right? And I think it was him that said it. I heard that through the grapevine, and it made sense to me. Like, are you enrolling people just to enroll anybody and everybody, or are you making sure they're actually a good qualified person for your program? Because that's going to go places, right? But then at the end of the day, you have to have policy in place. I mean, Metzger and I just talked about this. Like, I had a student, and this is a one-off, but this is a student who, we allowed to get heavily behind in their payments, and that's on us. And so you have to have policy in place. You have to know what that policy is on the front end. And I will just tell you that if somebody now is more than 30 days delinquent with us, right, they will not be allowed to train in our school until they get caught up, or there's a plan for them, of some sort of payment plan for them to get caught up, just because we've been burned on that before, right? So that's it. At the end of the day, you could send them. I'm not a big fan of this. Hey, just a friendly reminder, your monthly tuition's coming out on, send it out 5 days prior. There's a lot of CRMs that can do an automatic send on, letting them know, the consumer know, that their payment is coming out, on such and such a date, which is 5 days prior to whatever. So, and you find out from them, does that payment date work for you, or would you like me to change it for you? Like, what would be easier for you, right? Maybe your payment date falls on the first, when all of their other payments are due, their mortgage, everything else. And if you could just move it to the third week when they get their paycheck, nothing else comes out, and that might help them. So again, it's conversations, and I don't know if this is a big problem or a small problem in the school, because a lot of times the small problems irritate and irk us and become very large problems in our mind as well, right? So,
by the way, here's a principle and a philosophy. I would like to think, and I say this because I've been in business long enough, that just because I say something 100 times doesn't mean it actually gets absorbed. But I have a principle and a philosophy in our business. Nobody gets turned away because they can't afford us. Number one. Number two, if you're a student with us and you fall on hard times, we do not kick you out of the school. The problem is the question is what do you do when cards get declined? This goes back to part of the system. What kind of rapport and service, customer service, are you providing with your clients? Because most of the time, when somebody stops paying you or their credit cards are declined, they disappear and you cannot get them on the phone. I would rather have such a good relationship that I want to put the odds in my favor that they would come to me and say, hey, things are a little bit tight right now. I don't know if I'm going to make the payment. And then we will have that discussion and we will work it out. But we do that in the form of a scholarship. And I'm not going to get into how we do that and this, that, and the other, but it is something that I will offer everybody, because another philosophy in my business is don't do something for one person that you wouldn't do for all of them, because I don't think that's fair, right? But this is open for everybody. But there's a form they have to fill out, this, that, and the other. Well, they're not going to come and tell me anything if they don't understand that to begin with, right? And so if somebody just disappears and they try to make a payment, well, it's automatic where their card will be hit again 3 days later or 3 days later. But regardless, if we're not getting the payment, number one, we do not take anyone to court. We do not do high pressure scare tactic letters. We don't do it. But what we do is my guys will be picking up the phone, trying to see how we can get them in to re-inspire them, or see what's going on, or get them back on the mat, regardless. And then we will work it out, because then at least we have communication. So that's the thing. But the best practice is customer service and rapport, so you can minimize that from happening to begin with. But it will happen. I mean, there's nothing you can do. It will happen. Surveying students. Here's another question. Is this something that any of you use or have used, and did you find it useful? What kind of feedback did you receive from it, or would you recommend against using it, and why? Giving your students a survey. There's two things here, depending on how you do it. If you put a survey, a lot of times, depending on what the survey says or how it's conveyed, that will get your customers to just think about, well, what is it that I don't like? What is it that I want to see improvements on? And it could become negative, could become a negative thing. So if you are going to do a survey of your students, what are some of the things you really love about our facility? Are you finding that we provide value for what you wanted to come in here? If there was one thing you could see us do better at, what would that be? That's a better way, as an example, to put a survey out to your students. But don't put a survey, we want to hear your comments, because most people only take time to fill out the comment forms or surveys when they have something that they are unhappy with. I mean, today's a different world. I mean, when you and I were in the martial arts schools full time teaching, we didn't have freaking Google reviews and all that stuff, right?
Right.
So nobody like wrote home about how great we were doing because that's an expectation. If I go for dinner somewhere tonight, I expect the food to be great. And if the food's not, that's when you would hear about it. But by the way, that's not me either. I don't run home and start saying, "Man, let me tell you about my meal I just had."
No,
You
you'll
know,
take care of it immediately. Send
huh?
it back and you'll take care of it immediately. Send it back and give me something else.
Well, what I do is I send it back. I want my meal comped and I want a year's worth of free food. But that's just the way I handle
That's right.
stuff,
That's right.
right?
Yeah, that's right.
But anyway, my point is just be very careful on how you present a survey. And by the way, you could get some good feedback.
You can, but there's also a danger because what happens, for example, to Metzger's point, right? Like, what happens if you want to do a survey of a certain class, right? Like, hey, we're thinking about maybe adding this class or pulling this class out. What if you have a 50-50 or a 60-40? Like, now you got people potentially excited or upset, and you're not going to pretend. It might be a standstill. You don't take any action at all. Well, then why have the survey, right? So again, it has to be you have to really think about why you're asking the questions and for what purpose, and how are they being asked, right? It is really important. We have something, with our CRM that we use, and I love it. It just happens to be set up every 11th class, right? So it's just the students don't. I don't think any student knows when it comes, right? Because it's every 11th class, so it's just kind of random, randomly every 11 classes, by the way. But it just says, hey, just checking in. How was last night's class? That's it. So we get responses from that, and they can give us star ratings. And then the cool part for us is if they give us a great rating, it'll allow them to either give us a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-star review. If they want to give us a 1 or 2-star review, they can do that. They can also do it anonymously, but we can see who it is, right? But if somebody gives us a 3-star review as an example, and they don't do it anonymous, well, that's a trigger for me to call them and say, hey, just checking things out. I know I sent you a message yesterday about how class was, and you gave it a 3. Just checking in. What's going on? Is everything okay? Yeah, I just this that. Okay. Or we found in the past that they hit the wrong star, or they hit however they did it, whatever. But those are the things that we do. And then if we get a great review, right, a 4 or 5, we'll actually ask them to go ahead and submit that to Google reviews, right? So when we make it easy for them to copy and paste and put, I'm getting a little bit overboard, but I will tell you, of 190 Google reviews, I think we're at 4.9 or some, whatever the number is for Google reviews as far as the star rating. And I'm also happy to report that our member satisfaction rate based off the star ratings in our CRM is also at a 5, right? So have we had 1s before? Yeah, long time ago, right? But it's been a 5. And the comments that we get are awesome as well, because we can see it from the people. They're like, oh my God, I love the workout last night. Or you guys killed me in class last night. Or that was one of the most recent ones that we had just from one of our adult classes, which was it was a compliment. So just be careful about what you survey. And again, you can make things more systematic as well.
What is the best way to set appointments at busy events? Has anyone found an effective method for setting appointments when there is a sea of people instead of a trickle? And by the way, I want you to answer that, but I want to make sure everyone understands. I'm assuming this means I set up an offsite booth somewhere at a fair, a festival, a county event, whatever, in the city, in front of my table, whatever. And notice they said, what's the best way to set appointments? One of the biggest mistakes you can make is just collecting leads. Collecting leads is one thing. So that's not the question. So if somebody says, oh, we just have candy, or you could hit the bob and then but you can't hit the bob till you put your name and number down. That's not what we're talking about. We don't want leads. We want to set appointments. So Tass, what's the most effective way?
Because it was pre-framed at a busy event. Well, to me, there's 2 types of busy, right? There's a busy event where you have a lot, like this happened to us years ago at a kids expo where we were letting them break boards, right? We had a line of people. That's busy, and it was great, and people were waiting to break the board. That's one. And by the way, the other karate school actually left their event, went, got boards, came back, and started doing the same thing because it worked so well. That's a different kind of busy than like this time of year with Trunk or Treat, where kids have a mission in their head, which is, I need to get to each thing to get my candy in as much as possible in the shortest amount of time possible. I don't know the answer to the latter of the two. I really like, I just don't think, I mean, there's people I'm sure that have done that, but it's just, for me, years ago, we did a haunted path or whatever it was in the park, and we had a booth set up in the middle of the trail, and we couldn't get kids to stop and parents to stop and give us their information because it's this disconnect, right? They're there for Trunk or Treat, they're there for this event. So of the first events, having a bob and having a punch of 20 times in 10 seconds where they can win 2 free weeks, they win. Great, let's go ahead and schedule your first class. It's very easy. You won, let's schedule your class. That's it. That's also different than, he said it, fill this out and you'll get to spin the wheel and pick out whatever sticky hand or throwing star from Oriental Trade that you want. And then you go back to your school and you're like calling all these people, they're not interested. They just wanted the widget or the tchotchke is what they wanted. I don't do that. I just don't like it. I don't do it. And I guess the easy way is have the proper mousetrap, number one. And number two, it's having a team of people.
That's
you
right.
need enough people. So you're talking to mom and dad at the same time. This guy or gal or leadership student or 2 or 3 others are taking the kids through their very first lesson, just occupying them real quick, getting them excited. Do you want to do it? Yeah, great. Just go ahead and, if you want to use technology, can be great. Technology can't be great. You could have them scan a QR code and make it a very simple form for them to fill out, or go old school and just have them put their name and phone number on a piece of paper, and we'll get them booked, and we'll get them either booked later, right? Or we'll have a class times listed on the calendar. Like, these are all the class times we have available. Which works best for you? And you can sort things out later. But Trunk or Treat, man, I don't know. That's one event that I don't know how to do it. But busy events where there's a line waiting for kids to do your thing, I love that. That's awesome. They're waiting for a reason because they want to do it.
He was right.
I don't know if that answered the question.
Award.
What is that? Oh, you won the Chipotle award.
Yep, he loves it.
Wow. That was for sending the most food back of any customer for the year, just so everyone knows.
No, that was Mrs. Silverman.
Oh.
Oh, man.
Oh, funny.
By the way, to answer that question, the other thing is here's a quick pro tip. You need an offer. Anytime you go to an offsite booth, I'm going to be very quick with this. An example. This is a concept. Special trial that ends in 3 days from now, right? At the event, you're handing it to everyone. So there's a sea of people. Here, guys, did you get this? It's 4 weeks for $49. But also on that pass, it says, set an appointment today at our booth and get 50% off plus a free uniform. So now you should have clipboards with appointment times where people can just fill in their appointment times on when they want to come into your school. And you could have a clipboard so people can just pass it to the next person if they want to take advantage. Do we collect money at the booth? We do not. We don't have time, and we do not. Do we give out free uniforms at the booth? We do not. What we tell them is, great, we're excited to see you on the appointment. We'll see you, especially if I'm dealing with a lot of people. We'll call you Monday morning to confirm. When you come into a free class, if you decide you want to do the trial, it'll be 50% off, and you'll get a uniform included with this offer.
Right.
So now we're just setting appointments, and you should have clipboards with appointment times on there.
And someone, I just see here, they must have found it. It's a downtown trick-or-treat event, right? Again, I've not had success doing that, but because they just go from, you can try it, right? But the only other thing that I would, this is theory. It's not been done because I haven't done this successfully at a trick-or-treat event, right? Specifically, it's just that time of year. So a lot of clients are talking about this right now. If it's a chill event and there's different things for them to do and activities, and that's different. You can have a tent set up and you can have the bob set up. But if they're literally trying to go from station to station just to collect candy and get out of there, that can be a different deal. So the only other thing that you can do is potentially have a flyer or card that has the same messaging, right? Register here to get, whatever your free evaluation, a free introductory lesson or evaluation lesson, and 50% off the trial. Register by this date, this time, so that later when they're at home and they see your flyer, if they didn't take action the day of the event, they still have the opportunity to do it. But the handing out things, we think if we hand out 500 flyers or 500 kick or treat passes at an event, that's going to be, oh my God, we got 500 passes out. That pales in comparison to booking 5 appointments. I'm just going to be honest with you. Like, nothing's going to happen with those 500 things, right? You're going to get maybe a call or two, maybe not. I mean, it could, but I would rather have 5 or 10 booked appointments coming in and just focus my time, effort, energy on that.
Listen, this is great because there's more questions. Maybe we'll hit more on the next show, but we're about an hour in already, and I respect everyone's time. But listen, when you see the advertisement of the show that we're going to do, put your questions in the comments, and then we'll have Mr. Brian print them out, and we will answer questions, on here to try to help everybody. But look, we're in the fourth quarter of the year. We got 2 months to go. Let's end strong. Let's have a record fourth quarter. You still have today and tomorrow to end October strong. And everybody have a safe and productive Halloween if you are partaking in Halloween events. So I appreciate it, guys.
Here's just a quick poll. I'm curious. How many of you are closed tomorrow for Halloween? Are you guys closed, Metz?
We're doing afternoon trainings. So we're doing afternoon training sessions. We are closed for classes. We don't have classes tomorrow evening.
But afternoon training for your team and your staff.
For all employees, yes.
Got it.
I think it's all full-timers.
But no classes.
No classes.
Correct. Okay. Yeah, that was something we pulled the trigger on a few years ago. Is we decided we were going to cancel classes for Halloween, and in part, it was the work-life balance thing for our team because they have kids, and if they're at the martial arts school teaching, they can't be out trick-or-treating with their kids, right? So that's the other reason why we did it. So
there you go, and there's some answers. There you go.
Okay. Very good.
Yes, give me a buzz.
Right on.
I sent you a text message. Take a look.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Bye, everybody. Have a great one.
All right. Bye-bye.